The scars are invisible. These are things that, it's emotional, it's gaslighting, it's all of the various things that so many people experience. So for me,
despite appearances of wealth and success in the industry, the reality was far more painful. As Justin Baldoni has revealed, he was broke and trapped in an abusive relationship, a truth that contrasts sharply with the public image of privilege. As Blake Lively now faces mounting backlash, the situation has escalated beyond a legal feud and into a deeply personal battle, especially after Justin's family, led by his father, Sam Baldoni, stepped forward to defend him. Sam isn't merely supporting his son. He is determined to expose what he believes is the real truth, openly discussing how abuse, particularly against boys, is often ignored and how those early experiences can deeply distort perspectives on relationships, intimacy, and trust. Justin has spoken about the silence that surrounded his trauma, the conversations that never happened with his father, and the resentment and suffering that grew from keeping everything buried. But began as a chaotic dispute between two celebrities has now exploded into a full-scale Hollywood conflict, with studios, media outlets, and public figures quietly choosing sides. And the power dynamic appears to be shifting away from Blake. When criticism against Justin intensified, Sam Baldoni responded forcefully, rejecting Blake's victim narrative and asserting that his son endured years of harm. Rather than making emotional public pleas, Sam took a calculated approach, dropping a subtle but devastating message on social media that resonated widely. A viral clip framed Justin as compassionate and resilient, capped with the pointed line, "In a world full of Blakes and Ryans, be a Justin." The message underscored family loyalty, accountability, and healing, emphasizing therapy, difficult conversations, and unconditional support. And as the conflict continues to unfold, it has become clear that this is no longer simple celebrity drama but a brutal reckoning where Blake Lively appears increasingly isolated and on the losing side of a battle she may have underestimated. The internet practically gasped as Justin Baldoni delivered a subtle yet devastating insult that didn't even need to name Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds. Everyone immediately knew who was being roasted, and the post quickly went viral, racking up millions of views, thousands of comments, and sparking a massive wave of people picking sides. Team Baldoni gained serious momentum while Blake's "I'm the victim" act crumbled alongside her credibility. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively stayed silent, though sources say they were furious behind the scenes. Yet there was little they could do: cry on Instagram or threaten another lawsuit, because every time Lively played the victim card, it only backfired. Meanwhile, the Baldoni family appeared untouchable, united, and unbothered, proving they wouldn't let Lively bulldoze Justin's career without a fight. Just as Blake tried to recover from Sam Baldoni's savage social media strike, The Hollywood Reporter delivered another blow, publishing a February 21st cover lampooning her lawsuit that many called one of the most disrespectful moments in Hollywood history. The cartoon depicted Lively using a slingshot to launch a phone at Justin, mocking her attempts to subpoena his texts, and a spokesperson for Lively condemned the magazine, calling it sexist and belittling harassment claims. But the public didn't care, as every claim she made had been disproved, leaving her looking foolish. Media experts and social platforms amplified the ridicule, confirming that Hollywood was no longer protecting her. Her PR team scrambled to push a narrative of accusing the magazine of silencing victims, but the truth was clear. Hollywood wasn't silencing her. It was exposing a poorly executed legal and PR stunt that spectacularly backfired, and Justin didn't even need to respond. His silence was proof of just how powerful the takedown had been. The Baldoni family didn't have to lift a finger, as the media did all the work for them, framing Blake Lively as a mean-spirited, manipulative figure while she scrambled to spin a narrative in which she was the victim and Justin Baldoni was allegedly orchestrating a smear campaign against her. The turning point came with The Hollywood Reporter's February 21st cover, which publicly mocked her lawsuit with a cartoon depicting her using a slingshot to fire his phone, highlighting the absurdity of her attempts to subpoena his texts. Up until that moment, Blake had controlled the narrative, presenting herself as a courageous warrior fighting Hollywood misogyny. But the respected publication's ridicule shattered that image, signaling to major studios and executives that she was losing credibility fast. Meanwhile, the Baldoni family stayed united, strategic, and untouchable, refusing gag orders and releasing every text to show they had nothing to hide, leaving Blake increasingly isolated as her PR team struggled to contain the fallout. The public backlash was relentless. Old interviews resurfaced, casting her as a controlling diva who sidelined people who didn't fit her agenda, and her repeated attempts to label Justin as the villain fell flat. Her credibility collapsed entirely when Baldoni's team released text messages disproving her claims, including accusations that he had barged in on her while breastfeeding or chastised her. For her weight, texts revealed she had actually invited him into run lines, completely undermining her narrative. As her reputation sank, defenders turned against her, and the hypocrisy and manipulation became glaring, further amplified when reports emerged that she and Ryan Reynolds had allegedly orchestrated a situation where Justin and his family were barred from attending his own movie premiere. The saga evolved into a brutal Hollywood spectacle, The media and public were united against her. Her attempts at damage control failed, and the Baldoni family remained untouchable, watching her self-destruction unfold in real time. A stark reminder of how quickly power, privilege, and PR can backfire when the truth comes out.
Important to our film as well. So you meet the main characters in the hospital. So the majority of 5 Feet Apart takes place in a hospital, and it takes
Blake Lively's efforts to control Justin Baldoni's movie and narrative completely backfired, as she alienated the cast and convinced everyone he was a monster in order to seize creative control and secure the final cut for herself, leaving Justin unable even to see his own work. With Blake and Ryan Reynolds bringing in their own team and editors, they hijacked the production, prompting Sam Baldoni to step in, outraged that his son's career was being undermined by lies and Hollywood indifference. As production continued, Blake's dissatisfaction grew, and the Hollywood Reporter's scathing cover further exposed her hypocrisy, revealing a string of lies and undermining her victim narrative. The public quickly noticed, and her PR efforts failed to stop the damage as old interviews resurfaced, portraying her as a high-maintenance diva who bullied and controlled others, and her promotional antics laughing and promoting liquor while advocating for domestic violence awareness only amplified the dissonance. Justin's leaked text messages, validated by Sam Baldoni's strategic social media strike, demolished her harassment claims, humiliated Blake, and restored Justin's reputation, all while the Baldoni family watched the destruction unfold without lifting a finger. Lively's delusions of grandeur became even more apparent when leaked messages revealed she compared herself to Daenerys Targaryen, claiming Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift were her dragons, as if she were an all-powerful queen leading an army, while in reality her imagined allies did nothing to save her. Even Taylor Swift reportedly refused involvement, wisely distancing herself from a scandal that wasn't hers, leaving Blake increasingly isolated. What was meant to be her moment of triumph, canceling Justin and emerging the hero, collapsed spectacularly, cementing her role as the villain of a high-profile Hollywood battle that she never anticipated, exposing the limits of her influence and the reality that the Baldoni family would fight back, unshaken, untouchable, and victorious. The real nail in the coffin for Blake Lively came when it became clear that Taylor Swift, despite being framed as her ally, refused to step in and defend her, staying silent while the internet and Hollywood tore Lively apart. Swift, known for carefully protecting her brand and image, recognized the business risk of aligning with someone whose reputation was collapsing. She knew Blake had become radioactive, and any association could damage her untouchable status. Ryan Reynolds, trapped by marriage, also stayed largely silent, making no real attempt at damage control or defending Lively publicly, highlighting that even Hollywood's biggest stars weren't willing to burn bridges for her. Blake had believed that having a pop superstar and one of Hollywood's top actors by her side made her invincible. But the second the scandal escalated, one ghosted her and the other remained silent, exposing the harsh reality of her fall from grace. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni capitalized on the chaos, hiring top legal counsel and turning the lawsuit into a career-defining moment, gaining unprecedented media attention, industry support, and public recognition as a credible, admirable figure. While Blake's credibility and marketability plummeted, studios hesitated to cast her, insiders predicted long-term damage to her career, and the public perception shifted from seeing her as a Hollywood darling to viewing her as a high-maintenance bully and liability. Every PR stunt, every attempt to manipulate the narrative, backfired spectacularly, and the media gleefully mocked her, cementing that her carefully crafted image had collapsed under scrutiny, leaving Justin thriving while Blake faced the consequences of a reputation in freefall. Blake Lively's colleagues are distancing themselves, and her attempts to control the narrative have spectacularly backfired, with footage emerging of her openly admitting that when she takes on projects, she doesn't just act, she aims to rewrite scripts, produce, and exert complete creative control, confirming what many suspected about her behind-the-scenes behavior. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's supporters remain steadfast, his family is united, his legal team is firm, and his fans are more vocal than ever, ensuring the public sees the truth of the situation. Blake, who spent weeks playing the victim and believing she was untouchable, now faces the harsh reality of a collapsing Hollywood reputation. As the Baldoni family's strategy and restraint leave her isolated, her credibility in ruins, and her influence waning. She wanted to be the woman who brought down a man in power, but instead she has become someone few want to work with. Unable to control even her own story, as Justin's star rises while hers fades, with nobody to blame but herself, what began as a personal feud has evolved into a full-blown Hollywood downfall, with Blake Lively crumbling under the weight of her own miscalculations, and the biggest twists of this saga are still unfolding.